Happy New Year! I thought instead of looking forward and thinking too much about what the future may bring, I wanted to go and reflect on the year that has just passed for us all. So my idea for this video is a kind of podcast style sit down and chat with you as I go through my year that has just been. So here's my journals. I wrote 4 journals this year over 2025. And what I usually do is I write my journals and then I start a whole new one in the new year. And I never really, it's very rarely that I'll go back and read over my journals and reflect on what happened to me and the lessons I learned. When I've read through these and reflected on the year that's been and written down the 10 lessons that I learned from 2025 through experiences, the people I met and the things that I did. So grab some tea, coffee or some non-alcoholic apple cider and put it in a champagne glass to feel fancy and let's get started. Okay, so this time last year on January 1st I woke up in Finland and it was a really cold, snowy day. I was very hungover. Yeah, I think I lit fireworks in the street. It was a beautiful time, but I remember the start of January, I had seasonal depression. It was a really rough time for me. I do like to move forward in a linear way and to see progress, and at the time I was kind of in a low point where I really couldn't see what was coming ahead of me and what to do next. And this is where I've discovered the circle theory. There's two theories of time, and one is that time is linear and that we're individuals moving forward and towards a common goal. That's very Western philosophy, and the circle theory is a bit more Eastern philosophy. It's that we are, the circle of life, Lion King, and it's that we are going in a circle. We are born, we die, we return to the earth, something else comes of us, and it's not like a story that you would read in a book. It's this never-ending cycle, and I relate that to also my own life and the way it flows, and it kind of dips down, and I have these real beautiful high moments and then these really dark periods in my life as well where I just don't know what the heck's going on. And for me it's very important not to avoid those periods in my life. I've spent a lot of time trying to avoid feeling down and to instead not to resist it and to accept it and to just flow with it. And I wrote in my journal January last year, life is good, life is hard. The sun shines and the sky pours. That was number 1. Story number 2. I did the 100 Days of Discipline challenge, where you work out for 100 days and you do it every single day for 100 days. You work out 100 days straight, basically. Exactly that, actually, not basically. I felt at the start of the year, I was like, I need to be disciplined. I need to know that I can be disciplined, that I can pick something I'm gonna do, commit to it, and commit to it until its completion. Someone brought up this challenge to me and I was like, okay, I'm just gonna do it. I just started on a random, it wasn't even the start of January, it was mid-January, some random Tuesday or Thursday or something. Started the challenge and I worked out for 100 days straight. I signed up for a gym, which I've always been really afraid of going to gyms because I don't know anything about form or equipment or nothing. And through that challenge I learnt to follow what feels good for my body, not necessarily what's easy, and that consistency, I can be consistent. I changed the narrative of I'm not a gym person, I'm not someone who works out consistently, someone that can't speak properly apparently, but that whole narrative of who I was, I completely chucked that out of the window and just let myself become a newer version of me. I worked out while I was sick, I worked out in the Arctic Circle, I worked out on a reindeer farm, I worked out in the metro station. I'd forgotten to work out and we were going out for a night out and I knew I wasn't gonna get home by midnight, and it's every day, And so I was like, oh guys, I have to work out right now in public. So it broke the walls down of like this fear I had of that people might judge you or whatever. Like I realized that no one really cares. Through that I realized that there is no real obstacle, because I was able to do it all even though I was sick or traveling. There's no real obstacle except for the excuses that you make for yourself. Story number 3, the key to trust is self-trust. So while I was traveling last year, I was traveling solo and I was kind of just like going with the flow, and I would meet people, I would hang out with them, I was staying at strangers' houses, I was just making friends everywhere, making connections and just trusting in people that I didn't really know that well. And I remember someone asked me like, wow, you really do like have a lot of trust in people. My trust in other people comes from a deep self-trust in myself. I trust within myself that I will listen to my intuition, my inner knowing. Anything that comes up, if something doesn't feel right, I trust myself, and I trust that I will put myself first, you know, like if I need to get out of a situation, I'm not gonna people please that person. I'm gonna do whatever I can to safely, neutrally remove myself from where I am. And I think the same with making decisions in life as well. I'm moving in a way, I'm moving towards that which I want to live, the life that I want to live. And so I trust myself that I will say no to the things that aren't in alignment with that, and then I'll say yes to the things that are, because I trust in the way that I'm moving. I'm not living my life for anyone else. So the only thing to trust the world around you, you just need to trust in yourself, basically, is what I'm saying. That being said, please be safe. Please be safe. And yeah, do whatever is needed to ensure you are safe wherever you go and whoever you're with. And self-trust is very important. I think it's very important to not let your fears stop you from connecting to the world and to trying new things and meeting new people and doing things that are outside of your comfort zone, but just make sure you're being safe as well. Just a little disclaimer for like younger Kiana. Basically, I'm just speaking to myself. Lesson number 4, breath work, somatics, regulating your nervous system. Oh my goodness, why did I not discover this sooner? I didn't realize what like nervous system regulation was until freaking last year. Like, oh my goodness. But guys, if you are in a stressful job, if you are traveling non-stop, if you're just like constantly going, your nervous system is like freaking out all the time. It's like you're outside of yourself when you're in these situations, and I felt that while I was non-stop traveling. And I didn't, it can take like 1 minute, 5 minutes, like that's all you need just to take a few breaths and come back to the present. That brought me back to who I am. It brought me back to like my center. I was like, oh my gosh, okay, that's right, I'm here. And at the end of this year, I actually had a really stressful job, which was just like constant non-stop. It's a very highly social job, very customer service orientated, and just like a lot of stress, things coming every which way. And I noticed like the mornings that I would wake up and I would do breath work and I'd move my body, I'd do yoga, and I would just wake up, spend a moment in presence. Sometimes I was like starting at like 6 a.m, but I still made this a priority, just like 5 minutes of just. And the day that I had at work flowed so much better compared to those days where I just like got up, grabbed something to eat, grabbed a coffee and went out the door. So there was like such a distinct difference between the two of them. One, I felt like I was like just outside of my body. I was just not present in the day, and it was like the stress that came to me, I just like expanded it and I made it even more stressful than it was, compared to the days where I took a moment to like come back to myself. The stress that came at me, it was like, okay, how can I make that a positive? How can I alchemize it? How can I change it? Or just like allow it and not like hold on to it or freak out about it or stress about it or resist it. So I don't know that much about all that, but I gotta say, that was, yeah. Take a breath this year. Please take a breath. Take a breath. Lesson number 5. If someone were to ask me what changed me last year or had like a major impact on myself and how I see the world, I would say this would be it. So I traveled to Krakow, Poland, and explored the city. It's a beautiful and vibrant city. I spent a couple of days there, and I traveled to the Auschwitz concentration camps, which are infamously known for being used during World War II to mass exterminate the not just Jewish people, mainly Jewish people, but a lot of different people. And traveling to the city is a beautiful city, but you can even in the city you can feel like what happened there and like the horror that was there. And then moving on to the concentration camps, I wanted to travel there because I've been very interested in the history of especially World War II, having like ancestors that were in Europe at the time. It's always been something I've been interested in, and also just like, I guess I've been interested in it because I'm trying still to comprehend it. And I wanted to travel there because I thought that going to a place like that would really like cement the reality. Like it would really be like, okay, yeah, this did happen. It would bring it into the real realm and make me understand it more, maybe understand, I don't know. And the complete opposite happened when I traveled there. I actually felt like I was more removed from reality. I kind of like disassociated, and traveling there, it made me kind of like, it felt like everything, it didn't feel real. It felt like I was on like some set of some horror movie, and I couldn't actually comprehend that it was a real place. You know, you're walking through these spaces where people have experienced like just awful things. That experience for me last year, it was pretty like intense for me because I have for my whole life had a pretty positive outlook on the world, and always like this idea that everything happens for a reason, and I try to see the positives. And I think that's a good thing to have. Like, I would rather be an optimistic than a pessimistic person. But I think that shock of reality and understanding that there is horrors in the world, and humanity is very layered, and it's very complex, and humans do beautiful things and they do terrible things, and I think that you can't turn a blind eye to that. And being a positive person, you can still be a positive person, but still educating yourself, and also knowing like you can learn more by keeping yourself open to these harsh realities. Insight number 6. I this year really dived more into understanding the masculine and feminine energies within us. And for most of my life, I kind of defined masculine and female energy as like, well, I'm more of a girly girl if I like pink, and I'm a tomboy if I wear shorts and play outside. That was kind of how I grew up, and that was what I knew, and how I kind of defined who I was as a woman, as a girl, as a feminine person. And that's all I knew. And this year I connected more with understanding the masculine and feminine energy, and how we both have masculine and feminine within us. And the world is mainly dominated by masculine at the moment, the masculine energy. So we're kind of all taught to work hard and just be in like this doing state. There's a lot of stuff about productivity. There's not much stuff about being, which is feminine. Feminine is the being. And I, throughout the year before, was very much doing. I was ticking off bucket list items. I was going. I was like, I think for the last, like most of my life throughout school as well, it was like go, achieve. And I was in this doing state, and then I was like, wow, I feel like I'm just gonna have this continual list of things to do, and I'm never gonna feel complete, and I'm constantly doing, and like, what else is there? And then I learned about being, about waking up and just being with yourself. It's similar to this nervous system regulation and coming back to yourself, just being. And feeling like you are enough, like you've succeeded. You know, like one of the things is like wanting love, wanting connection. You're wanting, and you're like doing all these things to get it. And how often do you just be that? Just be that love that you are wanting to bring into your life. And it's not that I necessarily think like it's a balance of the both of them, and it can be a pendulum, because as I was sort of discovering this, I was like, oh okay, like I'm very, very masculine at the moment, and then I swung the other way and I was like very feminine and just like you know, just really like flowy. And so it's finding those, bringing those together within yourself and letting them be these tools. Lesson number 7, which relates to this, is discovering silent meditation. So I've tried to meditate throughout my life, but I really struggled staying still. My mind's always going everywhere. And when I started volunteering in this retreat center that I went to last year, I had just finished my 100 Days of Discipline challenge, which is a very masculine thing. It's very like, I just completed that, and then I went to this retreat center to volunteer, to help out, and I didn't really know like anyone, I didn't really know what to do, and one of the people there asked me if I wanted to come with them to do a silent meditation with them, which was like, I thought there would be like a little bit of guidance, but we literally just sat in a room and meditated for an hour with our eyes closed. No music, no instruction, just sitting there in meditation. And I've never done that before. Like I've tried meditation here and there, but I would say I haven't gotten over 10 minutes. And I usually listen to music or like someone guiding you. But this silent meditation, it was like really, really uncomfortable to begin with, really uncomfortable. And then towards the end, it was like, oh, I could do this forever. Like this is amazing. This feels amazing. What the? And so I continued, I tried to keep that meditation going, and I remember like not so long after that I was meditating out in the garden, and through like being connected to myself, I was connected to everything around me, and this like bee was buzzing, and I swear like I was not on drugs, like I was just meditating, but I felt like I could feel the bee's presence, and I could feel the grass around me and everything around me without it like it was like that connection is always there, but I just like never felt it because I was always like walking past or just not really like being present in the moment. And so as uncomfortable as it does feel uncomfortable, especially if you don't often sit with your thoughts and sit still, but the feeling that you'll experience with silent meditation is pretty profound, and I highly recommend that. That's something I don't do as often as I would like, by the way. This is lessons I learned last year, things I did last year. I haven't kept it routinely, consistently going, but it is definitely a beautiful thing to try and to continue if you have the inspiration to as well. So just want to like put it out there, I'm like by far not following any of these habits like 24/7. I am not perfect at all. No. Okay, number 8 is really funny. I saw that I wrote this in my journal and I laughed at it because it's so true. And I wrote, just pretend to know what you're doing. I, for a long time, saw the gap between where I am and the thing that I want to do or the thing that I want to be. That gap was like the biggest stress in my life, and it felt like the hardest thing to get there because I don't know what I'm doing. And I see the people around me and everyone just like looks like they know what they're doing. Everyone is figuring it out as they go, and they're making careers out of it. They're being successful while still being in the process of figuring it out. Like, everyone is pretending, and it's a good thing. It's a good thing. Like, we're not pretending in a bad way, but I mean, that being said, if you're a doctor, maybe don't pretend you know what you're doing if you don't. But in other senses, like last year I started coaching women, and I started teaching yoga. I started getting more into this YouTube. I was traveling, and not once did I really know what I was doing. I was figuring it out along the way, and the more that I did it, the more things started to make sense to me, and I felt more confident, and they became easier and easier and easier. I had an official job. I was a chief elf last year around Christmas, so it was only recently, and I got that job as the manager of this whole little environment of looking after Santa and taking photos of children and being dressed up as an elf, everything. I'd never done this job before, and I was thrown in the deep end. I was the manager of it, and I did not know what I was doing at all. But through it, I realized that I can figure it out, and I can pretend I know what I'm doing, and the more that I do that, the more I will figure it out. So if there's something this year that you really want to try and something you really want to do, and you just don't feel quite ready, like, the biggest thing you can master is it's acting, it's pretending you know what the heck is going on. And the more that you do that, the more and more you will learn. Like, right now I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing right now. I'm just like sitting here speaking to you guys with some notes that I made, and I don't even know, like, I have an idea of how I want to edit this, but I'm still learning the whole editing process, but that's after this part. And we'll figure it out when we get there. Hi, editing Kiana. Hope you're having fun with all this yapping I'm doing. Lesson number 9. A to-do list is a map. So I had for a long time this feeling that the to-do list is like this obligation. And I felt this, like, you know, even like creating New Year's resolutions or setting goals, the list kind of felt like this, it's like this daunting mountain to climb. And I've reframed now that the to-do list is actually a map. So if you follow this map of things, you'll get closer and closer to where you want to be and the person you want to be in the world. And seeing it that way, it makes it more fluid, it makes it more exciting to see it as this map to who you want to be. I lost sight a lot on the journey and how fun it is to actually be in this stage of becoming, and just like allowing yourself, like, even though you have this idea of where you want to be, and there's all this stuff in the media of like how to be successful, be productive, and, you know, I'm a millionaire by 20, and all of these things are just like thrown at us to like have it made as soon as possible. I think we often forget the detours and how taking different paths along the road and letting yourself kind of explore this way or that way and follow your curiosity, that actually is a part of your whole journey, and it is what is to happen on the road to becoming who you are. Throughout high school, throughout like up until last year, I was really like trying to make something of myself, trying to like be something, and I was like, realized last year, it's basically yesterday, but I realized last year that I'm actually wasting so much time right now trying to be like, get that, like that this time is the perfect time to create like a tapestry of experiences and draw from different things and try something, and it doesn't work out, try something else and stuff. And so although I'm all for like habits are amazing, having a to-do list and some sense of direction is a really good idea, but allowing yourself to move fluidly and take detours is really important as well. Like this is going to make up the story of who you are. So yeah, like have fun with it as well. This is the last one, number 10. Biggest lesson was radical acceptance and the art of letting go. So last year I met a lot of people from all walks of life. I traveled a lot. I connected with many people. I lived with a host family within their home, but you know, I basically had this family on the other side of the world. I fell in love. I had so many beautiful experiences and memories, and I went to so many cool places, and every one of those moments and experiences and connections, it all passed. And the next moment rolls in, and the next and the next, but you can only be fully present in the next thing that came when you are allowing yourself to radically accept that the past has passed you by, and it's okay, and that experience was what it was. If you don't accept the situation that is before you, it's like I remember I got this wave came and washed up all of my stuff that I left on the beach, and everything was wet, and I just laughed at it, and I just like was in this state of acceptance, because if what was the other option? To be like really like, you know, stressed out and angry and annoyed at what, the ocean? It was my fault anyway. So there was, through accepting what was, you're able to not allow it to affect you, and you're also like able to like deal with the situation in a much lighter way. And also like accepting and letting go of each moment allows you to be way more present in the moment that you're in. It sounds like I'm saying all of that is easy. It definitely is not. It's definitely something that I am still learning how to do. Okay, well, that was everything. They were my lessons and stories from last year, from 2025, and I really appreciate you for sticking with me to hear them. I hope the things that resonate with you land with you, and you take those lessons into your new year as well. I'm really excited for everything that this year will bring to everyone, and really sending a big hug. This is hard. How do I? Big hugs to you as you yeah, create new stories in the new year. Okay, now I'm going to do that really awkward thing where I ask you to like this video if you liked it. Please subscribe to follow the journey, and also honestly probably like if you're gonna do anything, leave a comment, because I would love to know that you watched till the end and enjoyed it, and any comment, any feedback, or your own things that you learnt this year, please put it down in the comments. That's probably my favorite thing, because I can actually read those ones. But if you don't have time, like the video, and subscribe if you would like to see more.